Everybody stand up. Stand up. You've been sitting for a while. Stand up. I'm going to adapt a greeting from the Zulu. And what it means is I'm here, I'm present, I'm vulnerable, I'm honest, and we're connected. Now, when I do workshops, I have every individual do this to each other. But for the sake of today, I'm going to say it to you, and you as a group, say it back to me. That's 3 simple words. I'm going to say them. Please say them back to me if you feel so inclined. I see you. I see you. I see you. Everybody have a seat. How many of you in here are teenagers? How many of you in here are parents of teenagers? How many of you in here used to be teenagers? For adults, adult children, child parents, and everybody, I encourage you all to take one more step into the waters of vulnerability, connect with each other, and connect the world. Bruce stood above me in the school cafeteria. His menacing grin looked like a villain in a bad science fiction movie. I want your pizza! He didn't probably sound like that, but that's what I remember in my mind's eye, so just go with me on this one, okay? It's cold. I don't care. I won't fight you today if you give me your lunch. Okay. He grabbed my lunch, took it, ran off like a hungry wolf. My friend sitting next to me was appalled. Why did you just let him take your lunch? I wasn't hungry anyway. And then I heard my stomach growl. The only days I didn't have peanut butter and jelly for lunch were the days that we had leftover pizza from the night before. Now, Bruce the bully was probably hungrier than I was, but that provided little solace to my stomach. And this was life for me in 7th grade. Now, pretend you all are in 3rd grade, and the teacher asks a question, and you want to be the one the teacher calls on, because either you know the answer to the question, or you very badly have to go to the bathroom. How do you raise your hand? Up, right? You're trying to get the teacher's attention. Yes, yes. Now imagine you're no longer a human, but you're one of these creatures. My daughter calls him Patrick. Maybe the camera can zoom in on it. He's kind of small. It's a T-Rex. In real life, I heard they're much larger. But imagine you are sitting in a 3rd grade classroom. You're not a human, but you're a T-Rex. What would that look like if a T-Rex raised his or her hand? Yes! Okay, some of you are getting it. You're right. Roar! We feel that way sometimes, don't we? We have this voice, this mighty roar, but we stay quiet because we feel our reach is too short. And when we extend our reach, we become vulnerable and we expose our hearts. Vulnerability means being susceptible to emotional and physical attack. In 7th grade, I was under attack already. I did not want to become more vulnerable. So nobody, no teachers, no family, no counselors, and only the few friends who witnessed what was going on at school every day knew about the bullying. Now, Bruce was the bully, but he had disciples, mentors. So I was in health class. Health teacher, balding hair, gym shorts. He asked a question. Now, I'm a very shy, awkward teenager. I never raised my hand in class, but for some reason this time I raised my hand. And I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I wanted to be the one to answer the question. It was health class. I knew the answer. It's health class. I know everybody knows the answer. But I wanted the teacher to call on me. And the teacher sees me. And he looks at me and goes, David. Before I answer, one of Bruce's friends shouts out an insult. I don't remember what it was, but I do remember the class giggling. And the teacher looking at that student, laughing at the insult, and then calling on somebody else. What do you think my hand did? This to this. I didn't have a mighty voice. I certainly didn't have a long reach. And every time I tried, my heart got wounded. I would go home at night, and I would look up at the night sky and the stars, and I would just want to disappear, never to be seen again. 5 years later, another teacher arrives on the scene. Jean has run one of the strongest theater programs in the country for years. I'm a senior, still shy and awkward. She became vulnerable for me. And I'll tell you how. I'm auditioning for the fall play, and I'm coming up against some of the best talent in the school, which are friends of mine as well, which is a weird thing for me, having friends. But she selects me in one of the principal roles. Not only is it a good role, it's the role I wanted, and there's a reason why I wanted it. It was a big role, but it was also the role where I was the college student with a secret girlfriend. Now, I had never had a girlfriend before. I had never kissed a girl before. And on the stage, there's a kissing scene. I figured the way my life was going, this might be my only shot forever to have a girlfriend and kiss a girl, even if it's fake and I'm playing a character on stage. Now, was I nervous about kissing a girl for the first time in front of 300 people multiple times? A little, but I've been practicing kissing my arm for years. So how did this shy, awkward, arm-kissing teenager get this role? Because she saw something in me and took a chance against popular opinion. She made herself emotionally vulnerable to me because others would come toward her and say, "Why did you cast him?" But she saw something in me that allowed me to extend my reach, raise my voice, and literally changed my life. She became vulnerable from me. Now, vulnerability doesn't mean that we go to our barista that we see twice a week and we share the deep, dark skeletons in our closet. We take one more step in being vulnerable, connect with each other, and connect the world. And we don't have to be teachers. We don't have to be actors. We don't have to be public speakers. All we have to do is raise our hands and become vulnerable. And with teenage suicides in America rising to alarming levels, when we do this, when we connect with others, it might just save a life. I know because I'm one of them. So how do we do this? How do we connect? Easy acronym. SHE, S-H-E. S is for story. Jean told stories for a living, her own as well as those that were written by playwrights. And when you share your stories, don't just share what excites you. Don't just share your victories. Share your struggles. Don't just share what gets you up in the morning ready to go. What keeps you up at night afraid? Share your stories. We've evolved as a story-spreading species. We connect with stories. Now, when you share your stories, that leads us to H, which is heart. Don't share a news story. Share a short story. We want to hear your feelings. We want to hear your happiness and your sadness. Don't just share the facts, share how you feel. Now, Jean created that space in class, on stage, in her office. She created this bubble where we could be vulnerable and honest with one another. Create a space for people to be vulnerable and honest with one another. Share your heart. And E is another person's heart. Empathy. Now, all of us are more empathetic, some of us more than others. I cried during the holiday commercials with the bears and they're drinking the soda. But there's one easy way to be more empathetic. To put your phones down, ask one question with the intention to understand, not with the intention to respond. Alan Alda, an award-winning actor, says, "When I allow that other person to change me, something happens between us that's far more interesting than a pair of dueling monologues." Jean's retired now, but she spends her time volunteering in LGBTQ communities. She's still living a life of empathy. I'm going to share something now we probably heard over and over again, and we just kind of blow it off. So when I say it, you can groan. Are you ready to groan with me? Because I'm going to say it. Life is short. Come on, you can groan. It's okay. We've all heard this. But sometimes, I looked up, a couple months ago, I looked up in the night sky and I saw the stars, the same ones I wanted to escape into when I was 13, and it hit me. Everybody close your eyes for a second. Don't fall asleep on me, just close your eyes. I want you to imagine your life compared to the stars and the universe. We are nothing but a breath, and all that we achieve and acquire and accumulate will burn to ash. But our stories, our heart, and our empathy will ripple and echo across this planet long after we're gone. If we're vulnerable to a few people, we connect with each other and we connect the world. Some of you have your phones out already. The rest of you, pull your phones out. Pull them out. It's okay. Pull your phones out. I'm not done yet. It's okay, though. You can applaud. Pull your phones out. I want you to think of somebody that you were safe being vulnerable around, or that was vulnerable to you, like Gene was to me, and I want you to send them a text or an email, tell them thank you, and tell them why. And wait for them to respond. Go ahead and do it. I'm going to do it right now, actually. In fact, what I'm going to do, because I already shared one of those earlier today, I'm going to take a selfie of all of you saying that I'm giving a TEDx speech and none of you are paying attention. You're all on your phones. Hopefully you have somebody in mind so that you can finish this text or email later. But before the event is through, I would love to hear that response back from that person that you said thank you to. Because that creates a story and that connects us. Take a moment once in a while to find somebody or think of somebody that touched your life and tell them thank you and tell them why. Raise your hands, expose your heart, and be vulnerable. Not everybody's going to raise your hands like you do. Some may only do this. But for those of you who do this, you will join together and you can lead us and you can change the world. Take another step with a few people. Be vulnerable. Connect with the world. Connect with each other. And change the world. I see you.